Hi, Pastor Nathan Decker with your hashtag Better Together devotion for today. Did you know that God is a little obsessed with food? Well, at least it appears that way in the Gospel of Luke. This week, I want to focus totally on the Gospel of Luke and places, especially inside this Gospel, where God is literally seeming to be all about food. It's kind of like God created it, God really enjoys it. I kind of expect to have some baby back ribs come when I get to heaven and that kind of thing. It's going to be great because, listen, there's so much illustration, so many places in the Gospel of Luke where Jesus is either going to go eat somewhere, just got done eating somewhere, or is eating somewhere. Even his birth, and that's where I want to focus today. When you look at Christ's birth, it seems to be there's food everywhere. He's born in a town called Bethlehem. It literally translates into house of bread. He's called the bread of the world. He's placed in a manger. That's a fancy King James language term for a feeding trough. This thing is all about food. God enjoys life. And when I see what's going on in Luke chapter 2, when God brings the shepherds who are waking up in the hillsides and bring sheep and cattle and things among Jesus' birth, of course, there are also places where we encounter food and foodstuffs and things like that. God is saying that God is providing for us. God is saying that God is coming and sitting with us at table. God is coming to be among us. That is the message that we see. When I was in Greek class, Dr. Linda McKinnish Bridges talked about her husband and her and how they served different churches at one point. And one church, when they were doing the nativity, wanted to have just a burst of light shining up from the manger, up into the heavens. Oh, that kind of thing. And the other church wanted a crying, living, peeing baby in the manger. And she mentioned how both churches had it right, but they needed to listen to each other. Because what happens in Luke chapter 2, as we approach the Christmas story and all this stuff going on, is that God is incarnating. God is becoming a part of the normal, everyday food stuff, a part of the normal, everyday aspects of who we are. Take a moment next time you're eating a meal to feel the texture of the bread on your sandwich, to hear the crunch, to have all the different tastes and smells, and to look at the meal as it's been prepared lovingly. That's what Christ is about when we look at Luke chapter 2. As he's born in the house of bread, as he's laid in the feeding trough manger, as Christ becomes for us in the flesh, the light of heaven, puts on skin and has meaning for you and for me, for salvation, for change, for nourishment. He's inviting us to come and see him at the manger. He's inviting us to come and be with him at table. When we do, when we take the time to really absorb all that's happening in there, we get a taste, a flavor, a moment of being better together with God. Amen.